I was wondering.
Okay, so that's in the budget, that's what it was. No, we didn't get it.
Okay, we're going to call the 25th meeting to order today. This is Village Board of Trustees, the Village of Depew, March 25th, 2024, and it's at 7:04. Trustee Kraft, would you pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You remain standing for a second. As we gather here today, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. We are thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, and its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's duties, for each day's problems, and may we be challenged to give our best always, and may be assured of your presence with us. Amen. Okay. Notification of fire exits from Trustee Hamernick.
Emergency exit is located to my left and to the rear of the room. In the event of an alarm or emergency, please move in an orderly fashion to the exit and evacuate the building.
A roll call, please.
Trustee Hamernick.
Here.
Trustee Zimba.
Here.
Trustee Kraft.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here. First item of business tonight is to approve the village board meeting minutes from our last meeting on March 11th, 2024.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion to move for its adoption to approve the village board meeting minutes from March 11th, 2024.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? As carried. Next item of business, accept the zoning board meeting minutes from January 11th, 2024.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that we accept the zoning board meeting minutes January 11th, 2024 as follows. Number one, Bowler Engineering and Landscape Architecture on behalf of O'Reilly Auto Parts Store for the property located at 6142 Transit Road, Depew, New York, 14043 of Chapter 260, subsection 260-34, parentheses E, parentheses 1, requesting relief from 49 parking space requirement to be allowed 35 parking spaces for an auto parts store, and of Chapter 260, subsection 260-37, parentheses E, parentheses pylon, parentheses 2, to be allowed to erect a pole/pylon sign, requesting relief from maximum facial area permitted of 80 square feet. Proposed sign would be 150 square feet. Granted.
I will second that motion.
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hamernick.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
And Mayor Peterson.
Yes. Tonight's meeting, we have just 5 items on the agenda. First item up is, and you'll be able to comment and make questions of any of these 5 items right after we get done explaining them. First item of business is a public hearing on the tentative budget that was put out on March 20th, 2024, last week. There's copies at the door. They're also on our website. And if anybody has any questions on the tentative budget, we'll be able to address them at that time, knowing full well that what you see today will be far different than what will pass next month. 2, permission to sign Firefly LoSAP program. This is the program that benefits the firefighters as they accumulate time. They become vested at 5 years, and at 62 can start pulling a check from LoSAP. What we have today is the results from the 2023 year, who did and who didn't achieve their minimum 50 points. Next item of business, permission to adopt the tax cap override. In our last meeting, we discussed why that is a function. It's at 2%, and we touched on a couple of things at the last meeting, that when you say you got to stay within 2% as a maximum tax increase, ideally that would be great. We know that there are challenges. Our health insurance is increasing about 12%. The cost of living is at 3.2%. The third year of the union contracts goes into play on June 1st at 3%?
3%?
3%?
Yes, yep.
And said our trash contract goes up. Just about everything's gone up, so do our very best. We're all taxpayers here, so we'll make sure of that. The fourth item of business, permission for the administrator to advertise for the sidewalk bids in both the Lancaster and Cheektowaga sides. These are the community development block grant monies that we received. On the Cheektowaga side, it's about 50 grand. On the Lancaster side, it is 150 grand. Next item of business is to consider a leave of absence for one of our young police officer candidates who was in our academy and had a medical issue come up, so he's had to come out of the academy. We think he is a stand-up candidate. We'd like to offer him a leave of absence unpaid for the next 90 days with the idea that he'll be able to come back and re-enter the academy in August when it starts up again. Excuse me. Those are the items today that we can address as the public comment. If anybody has some questions on those items, and if it is about the tentative budget, hold them until we open up the public hearing, and then we'll address them all at the same time. But if you have any questions on the permission to sign the Firefly LoSAP program, the permission to adopt the tax cap override, or permission for the advertising of sidewalk bids, or to approve or not approve a leave of absence unpaid for one of our young police officer candidates. Step to the microphone, name and address, and fire away. Sir.
Paul Strata, 58 Argus Drive. My immediate concern on the above five there are the sidewalk bids. Do you know specifically where they're going to be put?
Mm-hmm. Exactly where they're going to be put.
Can you tell us?
Yes. This was the project that was put forth last fall.
Okay.
And on this side, it is Terrace from the Boys and Girls Club to Transit, Easton from Terrace down to that next street. What is it? Runs by the Burger King there.
Litchfield?
Litchfield.
Litchfield, yeah.
Then there's from Terrace to Broadway, I'm not Terrace, Winona from Bloomfield to Broadway. Those are the ones there. On the Cheektowaga side, we are working in the park.
Yeah, working around Fireman's Park.
Around Fireman's Park.
Yep,
So-
fixing those sidewalks there.
They approved extension of low to moderate income property that village has
Yeah.
to the north side of Broadway. It's the first time we're able to use some funds from Cheektowaga on that side by the park.
Okay. The reason I asked is they did my street a few years ago, but they stopped halfway down the street. I don't know if they ran out of concrete or out of money or what the
Money.
problem was, but.
We never run out of concrete. We only had money.
But I was just wondering if they're gonna ever finish it, at least up to the stop sign or the first intersection.
That's a definite list we can
Some
take.
of my neighbors were asking me to bring it up, and that's,
Argus Drive was one of those ones too that sort of slipped in there a couple years back as being a low to mod area. And it's only, I believe, that one street.
Only that one, but I think only one
Yeah.
part of it,
And it
which
might
might have
be-
been why they stopped part of it.
But what we'll do is that when we go to evaluate programs for next year's money, which is in September,
yeah,
with presentation in October to the county, we'll take a look at it, sure.
okay. And I 2 years before we got grant money to put sidewalks in, I put in my own sidewalk at a considerable cost
Guess we
because of
don't-
the trees.
I guess we don't have to do that this year.
Yeah, I wasn't too pleased about that happening, but
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah,
Let me see. I think that's it. You're going to have the public.
we have a public hearing right
Yeah,
after. we get done.
okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep. Anything coming in?
No.
Okay. Anyone else from our audience on any of the agenda items only, with the exclusion of the tentative budget? All right. Let's rock and roll. Public hearing, number one for the tentative budget.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion to open the public hearing for a tentative budget at 7:15 PM.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, and that was 7:50. Okay.
Be it resolved, the village administrator is hereby authorized to advertise for a public hearing for the tentative 2024-2025 budget to take place on Monday, March 25th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York.
Public hearing is open for the tentative budget. Want to- Doing a coin flip, all right, Paul, you were a winner.
They compared notes this past week.
All right, tentative.
If you start talking, Dave, I'm going to have you come up and state your name and answers, okay?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, Paul Sprotta, 58 Argus Drive.
Uh-huh.
In this tentative budget,
Do you have a page you want to reference, or
pardon?
do you have a page that you want to reference?
No, I
Oh.
haven't looked at the
Oh.
thing yet,
All
but
right.
just a couple thoughts that I had. I think I brought up at the last meeting that last year we had a couple of outstanding, we took out a bond, for one thing, for the fire department to get a new truck, one new truck, and eliminate a pumper. And then we spent, was it 250,000, and for the police department, the new,
Closer to 300.
pardon me?
The dispatch center?
Dispatch center,
Closer to 300.
300,000. Did the village apply for or get any grant money for either one of those?
Want to take it?
Well, we had some discrepancy initially with they didn't cover because didn't our grant writers say they had covered some of the,
Yeah, we had
dispatch,
an
but
issue
they
with our
didn't.
grant writers.
Yeah.
They thought that they got us money, but
legislator Frank Tadaro stepped in and helped contribute from the legislature.
Frank covered 140,000, the county, I should say.
Yeah.
Through Frank Tadaro, as I
Yeah.
mentioned last time, covered 140 of it.
140 out of the 300?
Yep, and it was done pretty much internally, with the exception, with all of Ken's help, George's help in electric, our IT people at TechNet.
TechNet. So we had a significant savings using our own labor.
And there was no architectural fees or anything like that, so.
Yeah, it was all positive, keeping everything manageable and cost effective for the project.
Okay. Is there,
Second thing for the fire truck,
yeah,
you still have a question with that?
no. One other question on the tentative budget coming up. Was there any discussion on eliminating this longevity pay that I feel has been outdated for decades?
It's part of their union contracts,
Well,
so
it
there's
was
nothing.
part of
in
mine when I was working too, and my first year working, which is 45 years ago over there, the next contract came up and they disallowed it completely.
It's in the current contract that we have right now, so it's nothing that I could take out of this budget.
And when is this contract up?
2 more years.
Yeah, 2 more years.
2 more years, okay? So we have 2 more years of longevity pay.
You'll have more because
Yeah.
the unions will fight tooth and nail for that.
Oh, our union did too, but didn't win.
It's a lot harder to get rid of it versus bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they came up with is you get a catalog of these gifts for different increments of years of seniority, which was nowhere near the dollar amount that we got my first year there. So that was my, I don't know if any other municipality does this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them,
Most of
Very
them do.
pretty common.
Yeah.
How about villages this size?
I service a lot of public sector contracts, Paul. Majority of mine has some type of longevity in them. Longevity, though, can fluctuate. It's not always going to be high. Like, we lost 3 long-term people in the police department recently. Those longevity bonuses will be gone, and the people that replaced them will be starting out fresh. So it can be high one year, and it can go down the year next year. It fluctuates. We haven't negotiated any increases to those benefits at the levels they're at.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I've got right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
David Brooker, 5 Long Lead. Was this tax budget, was that available before?
On the
Yeah,
20th.
I mean, because I would like to have seen it at the latest meeting, so
We didn't have it.
We didn't have it then. It was on the 20th, March 20th.
New York State law for villages with a June 1st to May 31st is March 20th each year.
okay. But it just, I picked one up today and I'm just kind of breezing through it. I really don't have the time to study it. So I'm just, I wish I did.
If you see something there when you go home tonight,
I just picked up something from the
What page?
the engineering department, professional
what
services.
what page?
I don't have no page number.
Okay. Yeah, they don't.
The account number is 1440 if you want to, if that's a help.
Engineering?
For engineering
No,
services.
there is no page.
You budgeted for this year 120,000. So back in 2023, it was only 91,000, and the year before it was only 90,000. So I was curious, that you're adding another 30,000 to
Let
it.
us find it for a second. Here it is.
What number was it?
Engineering 1440, yeah.
I got it.
We have increased projects, and we rely on our engineering to do, it's with all of our phases for the DEC consent orders, they're involved with all of that. The Morano Drive culvert project that we have coming up.
Warner.
We're applying for 2 additional culverts that they'll be involved in with that. They are the engineering for all of our planning and zoning too. So we have increased projects and increased costs.
Yeah, but the good thing is Dave was here from our engineering firm, and he was able to reiterate to us tonight that, like, the culvert projects, that's all grant covered. So we have that covered already through the grant process.
But this
The
line,
Morano.
this line.
Or I understand. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
not an additional cost from the project perspective, but because we're doing so many great projects, we need their services to help us.
Now, I get one more question. With this state mandate that affordable housing is going to have to be built in every town, will it affect the Depew at all? 'Cause I think we have affordable housing in this
We
village.
really don't have room for brand-new projects.
Should say no.
We have we have one project, right, that come before, was it zoning? Last
Planning.
planning was a small,
That's small.
Four
in nature.
unit.
When you're talking about when the government's
That's what I'm
talking
trying
about,
to-
subsidized housing or low-income housing, they're talking about larger projects. Other than on Broadway, we don't really have a lot of real estate left to put something like that up.
Right.
If somebody wants to come forward, we'd be happy to help them with it, but as of right now, there's been nothing that came through our office.
All right, thank you.
yeah, I guess to answer your question, we can't be very active in trying to attract that. We just don't have the property in which to sell or make available.
Right. I mean, I just figured that the housing around here is fairly reasonable as compared to other areas.
Yeah, but they built some pretty expensive places. I think Cheektowaga's done a lot.
Cheektowaga's put in a heck of a lot of housing. I'm not sure how cheap it is.
No, that one down by, across from Hillview, I think it's between 1,800 and 2,200 or something like that,
The rental.
including a garage, but still, it's pretty high.
Yeah, I happened to go to my son's the other day, and he said the house next door is for sale. They want something like and he lives in Wheatfield. They want like 525,000. I said, Jesus,
Well, the problem is that's just the economy dictating.
Right.
There's not a lot of stock out there right now. So when you don't have a lot of stock, the housing market gets pushed up price-wise. Until they start building houses again, it's going to remain like this, unfortunately.
I'm gonna stay in good old Depew.
On Honorably. Any other questions on the tentative budget? No? All right. Any other questions on the tentative budget? And third, any other questions on the tentative budget? Now, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion to close the public hearing tentative budget at 7:25?
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. So, this is sort of symbolic, but I'm giving you a sharpened pencil and a highlighter for each of you.
Love it.
Do your due diligence
I did mine already.
in our quest to work on the budget.
I'm all done.
Take the pen, Audrey.
Take it anyway.
You don't want this.
Love it.
All right. Next item of business tonight, permission to sign Firefly LoSAP program.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas the village is the sponsor of a Length of Service Award Program, LoSAP, on behalf of the Depew Fire Department in accordance with Article 11-A of the New York State General Municipal Law, GML, and whereas as required by GML, subsection 219-A, parentheses 2, parentheses C, the Depew Fire Department has submitted the attached list certified under oath of active members of the Depew Fire Department, indicating those volunteers who have earned at least 50 points during 2023 to qualify for service credit. And whereas the certification made by the fire department includes a statement that the points recorded on the attached list have been tabulated in accordance with the point system adopted by the village to be in effect during calendar year 2023, and to the best of the knowledge of the fire department is a true and accurate reflection of the activities performed by the active members. And whereas GML subsection 219-A, parentheses 2, parentheses D, requires the Board of Trustees, Board, to review and approve the attached list, then return it to the fire department to be posted for 30 days. And whereas the Board has completed its review of the attached list, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the attached list of volunteer firefighters of the Depew Fire Department and the points earned by these firefighters during calendar year 2023. And be it further resolved that a copy of this adopted resolution and the attached list shall be returned to the fire department for posting for a minimum of 30 days.
Okay, I didn't think it was finished. I second the motion.
Need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hammerneck,
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
And that's carried.
Resolution number 3, permission to adopt local law number 1 of 2024, tax cap override.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Depew, New York, held a public hearing on March 11th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York, to consider the adoption of a local law authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. Whereas all persons were given an opportunity to speak for or against this local law. The purpose of the hearing was to consider Local Law 1 of 2024, authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. If adopted, the proposed local law shall read as follows. Section 1, Legislative Intent. It is the intent of this local law to allow the Village of Depew to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2024, that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by the General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. Section 2, Authority. This local law is adopted pursuant to Subdivision 5 of General Municipal Law, Section 3-C, which expressly authorizes a local government's governing body to override the tax cap, property tax cap for the coming fiscal year by the adoption of a local law approved by a vote of 60% of said governing body. Section 3, Tax Levy Limit Override. The Board of Trustees of the Village of Depew, County of Erie, is hereby authorized to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2024, that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the amount otherwise prescribed in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. Section 4, Severability. If a court determines that any clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law or the application thereof to any person, firm, or corporation or circumstance is invalid or unconstitutional, the court's order or judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder of this local law, but shall be confined to, in its operation, to the clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or in its application to the person, individual, form, or corporation or circumstance directly involved in the controversy in which such judgment or order shall be rendered. Section 5, Effective Date. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State.
I second the motion.
Need a roll call vote.
Trustee Hammerneck,
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
And that's carried.
Resolution number 4, authorize the administrator to advertise for bids for sidewalks as part of the Community Development Block Grant Funds.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following resolution, move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the village administrator is hereby authorized to advertise for bids for the sidewalk improvement projects for the Lancaster and Cheektowaga sides of the village of Depew. The bid opening will be held April 18th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in council chambers, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York, 14043.
I second the motion.
Need a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Hammerneck,
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
And that's carried.
Resolution number 5, approve a leave of absence request.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas Alex Hangen, Village of Depew police officer, has requested an unpaid medical leave of absence effective March 27th, 2024, until the next CPS Law Enforcement Training Academy that starts in August 2024. Whereas Captain John Thompson recommends the approval of this request. Now therefore be it resolved, the village board approves the period of the leave stated above.
I'll second the motion.
Need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hammerneck,
Yes.
Trustee Zimba,
Yes.
Trustee Kraft,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph,
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
And that's carried.
In the last 2 weeks, we received one employment application for DPW, Joseph Aquino. There are no department head reports tonight. There's no unfinished or other business. And before we go to open the floor to public concerns and comments, I'll have our department heads give their report for the last 2 weeks. We'll start on this side. We have Don and Kate from our building department, code enforcement officers.
Well, for those people over on Chateau Court and on Broadway, we've had an issue with the 3 beaver dams being built in a drainage ditch behind there, which has caused darn near flooding in that whole section over there. We've been in contact with the DEC and with the county trying to figure out who actually owns that property. It's been quite challenging. We do believe it belongs to one of the railroad, but I've been in contact with each of them. It's been a daunting task. Until we could find out who owns it, the DEC will not remove the beaver dams or the beavers until a permit's filed by the landowner. So we are working on that. In the meantime, Ken from DPW is taking his guys over there, and they've been alleviating the water slowly so that it doesn't cause any flooding onto those properties right now, but it is something we are working on. So, couple of things. We've got Sofra, which is a new Turkish restaurant that's open in the George Urban Plaza where the old Imperial Chinese restaurant was. They've done a really nice job in their remodeling it, and I understand it is extremely good, from people that have eaten at the one in Rochester, so, something nice for our residents. The DMV is almost completed with their remodeling. Once they've finished and we give them the certificate of occupancy, it'll take the states 2 to 3 weeks to get their computers up and running. But they said by the end of April, maybe into May, the DMV will be back in the George Urban Plaza. And that's pretty much it for me right now.
Want to just put on a record for the Winona?
So, yeah, Winona, 86 Winona, the utilities have finally been severed. The owner of that property has filed for a demolition permit, so now that that's done, pretty much as soon as the weather breaks, is a little bit nicer, they're going to get out there and demolish that dilapidated structure finally.
Okay, thank you. The other side of the room, we'll go with DPW Superintendent Ken Pick.
Good evening. Not too much. Our guys have been out cleaning up the village with brushing debris. We should be just about done grinding stumps and topsoiling that stuff. That should be coming to an end within the next week or two. We'll start carrying on seeding and topsoiling and taking care of it.
Okay. Recreation Department, Kevin Ferguson.
We have about 1 more week of ice, and then we're done. We finished with open skate on Sunday. Learn to skate finished last week, Monday. We had about 46 students for the learn to skate this session, which is quite a good number. Yesterday, we had a really nice event. We had the Girl Scouts come in, and they skated. There was about 65 of them. So it was a nice event for them to come into the rink. And I think that's about it.
Good success at the rink this year?
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna hit our number, but I wish the number was higher.
Okay. We have our fire department chief is out tonight working, but we do have a report.
From Fire Chief Brian Muslek, his first item is the fire department has had 7 alarms since the last board meeting, with a total of 74 alarms for the year. And number 2, that the fire department will be having a department-wide standby on Monday, April 8th for the eclipse event so that we will be better prepared to respond to alarms or emergencies that may come in.
And our other side here are Captain John Thompson from our police department.
The biggest thing we got going on right now is our school resource officer just notified me that he plans on retiring, so we're gonna have to start looking to replace him going forward. He's done an excellent job, and he's been our first one, so looking forward to finding our next one. And that's about it.
Okay. Legal, Sam Alva.
Okay, sorry, I was just texting people about the Depew Beaver, which I think should be the headline story in the Bee, if anything. I'm not going to tell you what to write, freedom of speech, but wow. Speaking of freedom of speech, there's a new Supreme Court decision that dropped last week. I updated the board about it. Basically, if you're using your private Facebook page and you are an elected official and you're using it in an official capacity, you can't mute or censor comments on there. That's First Amendment, public forum that you've created. But if it's a mix of private Facebook and public, the line's a little bit blurred and it's a fact-intensive inquiry. And the Supreme Court didn't actually decide the case in front of it. They kicked it back and said, here's the new test, figure it out. So I caution the board, and I'd caution any other elected official or anyone posting in an official capacity to have an official page where you do your business or your government job, and a personal page. And that way you avoid the problem altogether. That's
So
it.
that would be like an election year kind of thing, and it's Andrew Adolph for trustee.
Right, and
He
you
can't
could
mix his,
continue to use that page. You know, here's an update from the village, other things like that. Now, you brought up an example of what if my personal page is just sharing events in the village? I think it's a question of fact. Depends on the comments, and it's better to just have a separate public page to do that.
gotcha. That's why we appreciate hardworking Sam.
Thank you.
Yes.
Also,
Plus, you're working on something for
Great.
code, right?
yeah, I've got a list of 8 things to do.
Oh, there you go.
8.5, really, if you count this other thing I'm following up on tonight. Also, I'd like
Share with us if you would.
well, there's a contract negotiation that's happening tonight, and then we have an easement issue we're working on, a shared services agreement we're working on. Our dumpster law is going to come back around. That's drafted, and
Is that close to being done?
yeah, I think Regina identified that we already have a dumpster law, which threw a wrench in the works. So
Gotcha.
we've got to reconcile that with what we have. There's a few demolitions. We're talking to our real estate attorney on the title searches for those. Got to call into him. There's some other contract issues I'm working with Regina on. You raised a few issues on solar and what we're doing there. There's a grass law. And also, I finished my water bottle. I threw it over my shoulder, made it in that recycling bin in the corner. So
Is that Sweet 16?
I've missed before.
March Madness.
Mark,
You just made
Caitlin
Sweet
Clark
16.
over here.
And with all of that list, it's a good thing we're extending our next meeting one additional day. So Paul, Dave, for the eclipse, we will not be having a meeting that night. Okay, it'll be the 9th, same time. Okay, we'll go to the other side. Trustee Zimba.
Just want to wish all the residents, everybody here, happy Easter. That's all I have this evening.
Trustee Audrey Hemenick.
Just a few things. Our community center, and a lot of people like to hear about that. We're getting close. Everything depends on our certificate of occupancy, but it won't be long. We will be having a ribbon cutting for one level of it. So we're very excited. And so just watch for a lot of good things coming. Also, there was some.
Okay, other side, Trustee Kraft.
I have a-
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Just want to extend, caution again about the eclipse. A lot of out-of-towners will be coming into the village as we're the center of this event. So be cautious driving.
Kevin said about the seniors with the pencils.
Yeah, senior center also has some Eclipse glasses for senior residents for the village of Depew. But we won't meet until after the eclipse, so please be cautious driving and take full advantage of the event. That's all.
Administrator Gronkowski?
Nothing, we're just gonna be working on that tentative budget to make it look a little nicer.
Okay. Public comment and concerns.
May I give one more question on the budget?
Sure, come on up here.
Dave Burger, if I want to be again. Can I have one more question on
Sure.
the budget? Second last page,
Second last.
I see in the sewer fund, it says EFC phases 4 through 6. I'm going over it, and I see an interest rate of 41%. And the other ones are like 3.9, 3.3, and 3.78. What would cause that to be so high?
That's a typo,
That's what?
a typo.
Second
Oh, there was a
page.
typo.
Yeah, that's a typo.
Scribner.
It's a Scribner's error.
We're not passing it tonight. We don't need a Scribner's error.
Okay.
Tentative budget.
What would take, what
Oh, here we are,
what is
right.
it actually supposed to be?
Good catch.
Probably 4.1.
I believe it's 4.1, but let me check.
Scribner.
Okay, as long as it's in line with the others.
Yeah, it's nowhere near. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Good eyes.
No, good
Dave.
eyes. You caught something I missed.
Thank you.
Payday loan for the sewers.
We don't have our normal guests here tonight. Elizabeth from Monica Wallace's office.
Is there a budget time too?
Yeah?
Tentative budget to run this one.
Yeah, we're holding out for that New York State budget because we asked Representative, Assemblymember Wallace for a couple items for the Fireman's Park. I asked her for a lift chair in the pool so we can assist people to get into the pool. We asked for it's like a geodesic dome that we had to take out that was in the, do you remember, the monkey bars, if you would? So there's a newer version of that we asked for. And we also asked for 2 sets of cornhole. They're big concrete, solid things, they're not gonna get picked up. And that's, we also asked her for that. It was minimal, we didn't ask for a whole lot this year. About $18,000 or so.
I wanted to say that we also received $5,000 from Frank Tadero for our building,
Wow.
building materials, so it's very welcome. So he takes care of us all the time.
Did you shake them down for that?
No?
Oh. Okay. All right. Frank will be out here on Thursday for a sort of ribbon cutting for the dispatch center. Okay. Any other questions? Come on up, Paul. Sure, go ahead.
Paul Sprata, 58 Argus. The DMV that's opening, do you know if they're gonna close the Eastern Hills facility then?
Couldn't tell you, that's,
Don't know.
no, they just,
Nobody knows?
No, I'm just glad they're reopening it because the way it was closed was sort of haphazard and sort of sat there for quite a while.
Yeah, sat with nobody around.
I recall getting a call from Frank and Frank only, about the concerns with, to lobby Mickey Kearns about not taking it away.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad that they remodeled and it'll get back opened again. That helps that plaza thrive a little bit because then they see more
Raised a
stuff,
lot of traffic.
right? 'Cause you have a couple other businesses.
there's several businesses opening there
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Build
back
up again.
With the food
So that's boutique we talked about, Eladora's Rose
Yeah,
Boutique.
Elador.
She's got a little boutique, it's almost done. I poked my head in there today, and Royal Nails, that's turning out really nice.
Good. So that's a big part of that little plaza there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, the school resource, what school was he?
For Depew.
Depew, not Lancaster.
No, it's Depew. So he works at all 3 of the buildings.
Does he? Okay. Of Depew.
Yeah. Plus, he also works with OLBS as well as the Center on Barnabas.
Okay.
Catalytion
Catalytion
Center.
Center, I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Less longevity too, Paul.
There you go.
Yep.
Longevity.
We do also have an agreement with Lancaster Schools. One of our officers, Officer Wolf, he stops in at John A. Shorley.
Okay, surely. That's
Yeah,
on a-
every week, is it, Cap?
It's a liaison, so he's
Oh.
over there quite often.
Yeah, he's not there like Scott is. Scott's there all day
Yeah.
long.
Okay.
But that's the agreement that Lancaster made with the village, and they pick up that cost, so.
Okay, thank you. Don, you're talking about the beaver at the Chateau.
Yeah, it should say Beaver, damn it.
Beaver and Chateau, what a name.
Orchard Park has a problem with beavers too. Maybe you could,
Give them some pointers, or maybe take some pointers, right?
Children's book that
So
writes
that's-
itself.
Well, yeah. This wouldn't be so bad, but the county kind of dropped the ball, in my opinion, on
Him ride a train.
keeping, up on the landowners for that. I mean, they can't find it. I've been on the phone with them multiple times. They've been very cordial in helping me, but to no avail at this point. So, until we could pin down the actual owner of that property, they have to be the one to file with the DEC the permits to have it removed.
are they creating a big lake there?
Oh, yeah, you'd be impressed. I'm not gonna tell you to go on,
Yeah.
almost private look at it, but if you've seen it, I was impressed when I saw it.
Yeah.
This thing, that
I
beaver.
think we're gonna
is
try and
amazing.
share some
Well, they're
pictures, is
ambitious.
that right?
Yeah, maybe we'll post some. The pictures don't really do it justice till you're standing in front of it, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard because you're only getting sections of it, but when you stand back and look at the overall grandeur that this beaver has made, it's impressive.
I think we
How
need
many
pictures
beaver
next
are in
time.
there, you know?
I don't know, when we asked them to give us a number, they kind of, snubbed up at us when we were in the water, so. But I heard this thing is such a large beaver that it literally drags trees across the ground.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty powerful.
So it's amazing. Wow. It's pretty cool.
Is the beaver's name Chauncey?
You're talking about somebody, I think Janelle mentioned glasses for the eclipse at the senior center.
Kevin had mentioned.
They also have them at the Lancaster Library.
Yeah.
I was there today, and they run out of them because they get a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
When I was there for
A lot of the libraries
and
are
a
already
half,
running out, yeah.
there had to be a dozen people at least come up and ask, and they limit you to two glasses, but they replenish them, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Where else can they get them, Audrey, do you know?
Well, the Chamber of Commerce will have them during
On
their
the 8th?
function. Yes, we have 5,000 of them.
Just make sure if you're buying them off Amazon, they're like,
ISO.
yeah, the approved ones.
Yeah.
You don't want your retinas burned.
Speaking of the eclipse, if anybody's interested in a flag for the eclipse, they have them at Ace Flag. It's flying right below the U.S. flag if you drive by at Terrace and Transit.
Is it just plain black?
Chauncey the beaver.
Pardon?
It's just a black ball.
I wanted to today.
We could write a children's book.
Well, it's, my son designed it, that's why.
Ah,
And I
a little plug for your son.
I know that they can't keep up the production of them.
You should have brought a sample to show us.
Just if anybody's interested, just mentioning. Let me see. Oh, what does anybody think of the Village of Lancaster vote?
It's tied.
I know.
Yep.
They're recounting today,
They did.
and
It's tied.
do you know what the results?
248, 248.
It's still tied?
Yep.
After the recount?
So their re-election is April the 9th.
Yeah. Same day as our meeting here.
Yep.
Flip a coin.
You got that straight?
Where will Paul go?
I know.
Paul has to be
I
here.
can't vote in the Village of Lancaster.
Yeah,
But my son can because he lives in the
there you
village.
go.
Let me see if I got anything
What about
else here.
60 seconds?
No, I guess not. I think that's it. Oh, I wanted to ask one thing about the center over here. There was a booklet on a table just outside the door here of the, I think it's Cheektowaga, Lancaster, and Elma, had a booklet, a picture on the front of the Lancaster Opera House.
Yes,
And
that's for the eclipse. It's a
Yeah.
passport book that you buy.
yeah,
You get a pair of glass, you get two glasses with it, and it's $20. And if you have an organization that would like to sell them, for the chamber, you get $10 for selling the book.
Oh, okay.
You collect 20 and $10 goes to your organization. But it has all kinds of coupons in there for all the businesses in Lancaster.
Anyhow, inside that, the booklet that I'm talking about, there's a artist rendering of the front of that Dumpolsky building. And they show like a canopy over the main entrance with a side ramp for wheelchair. Is that still gonna happen or not?
That will not happen.
That won't happen, okay.
That
I'm
was just
curious.
an artist rendition. We just decided not to take the historical part of the building away from the front there.
Okay,
You know, and just instead of covering it all up.
yeah.
There will be a handicap ramp and that will be around the back side.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it before.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And you're more than welcome, anyone, to come over and see it. Jesse's there all the time, we're there all the time. You're welcome to come in, we'll let you in, take a walk through.
All right. Sounds good.
Good job.
All right, I guess anything else? Anybody? To claims and accounts.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I motion that the claims and accounts have been audited by the Finance Committee and are approved for payment as follows.
From the general fund, $276,346.54. Zero from community development, $1,834.80 from the sewer fund, and $20,030.50 from capital projects, for a total of $298,211.84.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. And adjournment?
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to make the adjournment, pausing for a moment of silence at 7:55. The moment of silence is for Jerry Kozlowski, who is Audrey's brother, who unfortunately passed away last week. So.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Happy Easter, everyone, and be safe on Eclipse Day. And we'll be back on the 9th.